So I've only brought basic gear with me today. I've got my Huntsman Swiss Army knife, Firebox Nano mini wood stove, a fire steel or ferrocerium rod, whatever you want to call it, and the old stainless steel canteen cook set. And the plan is to try and get the wood stove going using nothing but natural tinders and a few sparks. Let's go and have a look and see what we can find. So we've had a bit of rain over the last few days, but it's really warm today and things look like they are starting to dry out a little bit. Although this kind of stuff on the ground, feels quite dry, that actually. May as well try straight away and see if that takes a spark. This stuff looks like it's been baking in the sun. Just want the finest stuff. This is mainly bracken. A few old oak leaves there as well. Just going to rough this up a little bit, get into some nice small fine pieces. Get that on a pile there. So when it comes to creating a spark with my Huntsman Army knife, I use the back of the saw blade. The saw blade's got a 90-degree spine on it, so it makes it, let's see if it does. There we go. It's good for creating a spark anyway. Let's see if we can get this to light. Just smouldering a little tiny bit. Maybe that just needs breaking up a bit more. Or maybe it's wet. It's been on the ground. I'm going to call that one a fail. Sure we'll find something else. We've not actually had to walk that far. So these are silver birch trees, and the bark of the silver birch is a really good tinder or firelighter. I wouldn't want to be cutting pieces off a live tree because it will damage the tree, but sometimes you can find some really flaky bits that just peel off. These things here, look. So you can peel these off. Little tiny loose bits. Although there's not much on these particular trees. Well, that's a nice bit. Let's get that in the pouch. Oh, that bit there. Perfect. See if we can show you better in the light there. Maybe not. There it is. I'm going to try and fill this pocket up. So birch bark is loaded with resin. You can see the reddy colour there. And when you break that up a bit, it takes the spark really well. Quite a lot on this little tree here. It just peels off and it's not harming the tree. It's just like shedding its skin like we do. Spoilt for choice for birch trees in here. So I found a fallen birch tree here, look. What you can do with this is cut a section of this out. I wouldn't cut this out of a living tree, but you can get your knife. Get the blade underneath the bark, like this. Careful not to cut yourself. And just peel this bark back. It's quite wet, that. I can stick that in my pocket. I can scrape this off and then that will still take a spark even though it's slightly damp. Some big chunks there, look. Stick them in the pocket anyway. See if we can find something other than birch. This is tougher than it looks. It's predominantly a deciduous woodland. So it's hardwoods like oak, birch, ash. In the middle of it all I found one evergreen. This little pine tree here. It's got some dead limbs on the bottom. Maybe we can get something from that. So just there, it's all sticky. So this has got sap in it. So this also, pine sap takes a spark. But if you saw this dead branch off, we might come across some fatwood in there as well. Another job for the saw section. Bear in mind, I'm only going to do this on a broken off dead limb. I wouldn't do this on a live branch. This is not the best saw for the job, to be honest, but in a pinch it will do it. Hopefully when we cut into this we should see a nice orange colour. That indicates that there's some fat wood in there. See all that there? So that is resin, and once that is ground up a little bit, shavings, that will take a good spark as well. Let's grab that, and while we're here, take a few of these dead branches off there as well, just to get the stove started. You can tell they're dead because they snap. Can you listen? There we go. Just the little ones should do. A lovely bit of red fatwood in there as well. One last thing we can use. Pine cones. These burn really nicely. So we'll get a few of those as well. Nice little tabletop. Pine cones, fatwood, a few other twigs. Not sure what that is though. See that marking? It's like a sword. It's like something from the Last Crusade. Good enough place as any. So I've had the Firebox Nano for years now. If you look at some of my really early videos, it's on there. Folds down to nothing. Just folds out like that. Tiny little wood stove, but it is perfect just for getting a brew going anyway, with a few twigs. So before we start, we'll get a few twigs to use as fuel. Nice little supply here, isn't there? All dead. All feels nice and dry as well, although some of these don't always burn so well, I find. Especially when they've been on the ground. We'll give it a go. Start by getting the birch bark out of my pocket. There's the big bits. Then we've got a nice handful of shavings there, look. Hello. Got a friend there, look. Do not pee on my bag. Right, so if you get the bigger pieces of birch bark, you can get your knife and you can scrape a little pile of shavings. Hope you can see that alright, although the wind is not helping here, it's blowing them away. Saw blade out again, fire steel, cut my finger, look. There we go. Oh, it's just blown out. Keeps blowing out. There we go. We are going just. Probably needed a bigger pile. There we go. We're going. Sort of. We'll get some of these fine shavings, see if we can get them to spark. That's easier, look. Like the other birch bark. Little pieces burn nicely. Really hot as well. Punk wood, that's another thing. I'm going to get pine cone in, see if that starts to burn. And another pine cone. And a few little fine sticks. Those pine cones are a bit smoky. Better crack on. That flame is burning really nicely. Should be enough for a brew on my breakfast there. Feed the twigs in just under there like that. Gotta keep feeding these little twig stoves. Priority is to get that boiling, and then I'll show you fat wood slash resin. In fact, we'll see if we can get that resin to light just on the outside there. Another way you can use your fire steel is to put your blade on the tinder and then just drag it back. Sort of, it's trying to burn. There we go. Can you see it? Probably could do with some fatwood dust on there as well. Get the knife out again. Right, see this little orangey bit there? So this is fatwood. So I'm just going to put some little shavings of fatwood on here. Loads of resin in that. You have to be careful because we don't want to lose them all. It's a lovely colour. And the smell is awesome. So I'll try the same method again. So I'll put the blade down there like that. And then just drag this back. Let's go in, look. There we have fatwood tinder. Now you could make yourself a little fire. Just starting from that. Burns for quite a long time as well, this. Resin in them little tiny birch twigs. Proper going for it. So you don't always need big stuff. This fine stuff burns really well. Just need lots of it. Going bonkers, look. That's why it's a good idea to always put these on a rock or something like that, or just some soil. Don't put it on dry ground. Come on, I'm gagging for a lem sip. I'm a little bit under the weather. Got bits of wood in me lem sip. I think I've smothered it. Put some of this, whatever it is, pine on it. Seems a bit damp actually. It's just charred a little bit now. We've achieved our goal though. Got pine sap all over my hands, it's really sticky. Let's get these little bits off here. Don't think they're going to burn. Let that last little bit burn out while we're having our lem sip and porridge. That's doing a job. That turned out to be harder work than I expected. Birch bark, really good fuel. So was the fatwood, to be fair, but it's harder to find in this particular woodland. If you're in one of those coniferous plantations, that's your source of tinder. But the hardest bit was finding just some dry twigs. Although there's plenty laying about on the ground, they've absorbed quite a lot of water. These tiny little twigs, they tend to burn better than even the pine when I've cut it into pieces. Because that was damp, a lot of resin in these ones. You can hear them snap. But you're feeding every 30 seconds, they just burn away instantly. So grab your fire steel and your Swiss Army knife and have a go yourself. I will put a link to the Firebox stove in the description. It's really tiny and lightweight but expensive as well, so I'll pop some alternatives from Amazon for about 10 or 15 quid. They are really good fun though, so go and give it a go. But that's me done for this one. I'm just going to wait for that to burn out, have a bit of a tidy up and then head off home and get editing. Day 2 completed. Little bits of punk wood. I don't mind, but birch bark, back to nature. Right. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.